Ever since being introduced to New York in 2006, vaping has been controversial, particularly regarding its marketing to high school students. Colorful packaging, sweet flavoring, and flashy advertisements are used to make it appear like a harmless stress reliever, closer to a snack than a drug. Claimed by venom social media are less regulated, with some saying that vaping has health benefits, can lighten mood, and can help make friends, causing socially isolated teenagers to do it. Influencer sponsorships are often not disclosed, making them appear like recommendations from a peer as opposed to brand deals. These tactics are targeted at young people, as their brains are still developing, making them more susceptible to being influenced by stimulating visuals and flavors. E-cigarettes are often sexualized and associated with rebellion, taking advantage of their ever-changing emotions. This is concerning due to the health risks posed by vaping, as e-cigarettes are known carcinogens, contain the highly addictive chemical nicotine, and cause learning and memory defects. Despite this though, vaping among high schoolers continues to be common in New York City. E-cigarettes were invented by Herbert A. Gilbert in the 1960s. Modern vapor products, hence the term vape, were made by Phil Ray and Norman Jacobson in 1979. In 2003, Honlick made the first commercially successful e-cigarette. Disposable e-cigarettes came first, then refillable cartridges, later larger customizable refillable tanks, and last smaller customizable refillable pods. The rechargeable lithium-ion battery heats up the atomizer coil after the sensors are triggered, converting the e-liquid into cartridge into aerosols that are then inhaled. In the 1990s and 2000s, there was a global gold rush for e-cigarette patents. The World Health Organization ordered vape companies to stop marketing them as an approved way to quit smoking. They were introduced to New York on August 22, 2006. At the time, the FDA could only regulate the delivery of tobacco, not the drug itself, though it was permitted to regulate tobacco directly after the Family Smoking and Tobacco Control Act was enacted in June 2009, with limited oversight over e-cigarettes being added in December 2010 from a district court ruling. In 2014, the FDA launched the Real Cost campaign to educate teens about the health risks of vaping, which is the presence of heavy metals, nicotine addiction, and learning deficiencies. The FDA was also given the power to do pre-market tobacco product approval, regulating what could be sold legally. Usage among high school students rose from 220,000 in 2011 to 3 million in 2015 due to appealing advertisements and flavorings, although further FDA regulations reduced it to 2.2 million in May 2016, as people under 18 could not be sold e-cigarettes, which was later changed to 21 in December 2019. However, in 2018, the number of high school vapers rose to 3.05 million due to the use of synthetic nicotine and online sales to bypass regulation. These loopholes were closed with the Preventing Online Sales of E-Cigarettes to Children Act, requiring age verification and licensing for online sales, the Clarifying Authority over Nicotine Act, giving the FDA authority to regulate all tobacco products equally, and the Consolidated Appropriations Act, allowing the FDA to regulate synthetic nicotine. US sales peaked on March 27, 2022 at 26.4 million units sold, up from 13.6 million on February 3, 2019. Sales declined to 20.3 million by May 18, 2025 as a result of these new regulations. In New York City, Local Law 159 was passed on April 29, 2014, and added vaping to existing cigarette regulations, prohibiting its use in public indoor spaces, becoming statewide in November 2017. Local Law 288 of 2019 prohibited the sale of flavored e-cigarettes, with the only options being tobacco-flavored or unflavored. It took effect on July 1, 2020. The New York budget for 2020 had a provision that stated that non-FDA-approved vapes were barred from being sold. Today, vaping is far more common than cigarette use among teens, with 4% of New York City high schoolers smoking, but 14% of them vaping, making up 32,000 students in 2023 alone. Notably, 77% of all young vapers have never smoked cigarettes before, showing that it creates new nicotine users but doesn't replace them. Nationwide, in 2024, 1.63 million middle and high schoolers used e-cigarettes, comprising 3.5% and 7.8% of all middle and high schoolers respectively. 38.4% of them were frequent users, 26.3% were daily users, and an overwhelming 87.6% of them were used flavored vapes, indicating their clear effectiveness in targeting the illegal market of children. With $8.2 billion spent on advertising in 2019, causing 74% of middle and high schoolers to be exposed to these advertisements on social media. Alarmingly, 21.8% didn't know what type of vape they used, showing that they may be uninformed about vaping, as 2/3 of all teenagers don't know e-cigarettes contain nicotine. Vaping-related health consequences are becoming increasingly evident, as youths who vape are over twice as likely to experience depression, mood swings, and headaches, have lower attention spans, and focus from withdrawal and repeated use. Vapes also contain heavy metals and chemicals that cause lung damage, hinder breathing, and cancer. Nicotine is present in all e-cigarettes and is a highly addictive chemical, being especially harmful to developing brains of children. In the 2023 survey, 79% of current high school vapers indicated that they wanted to quit, but their nicotine addiction prevented them from doing so. E-liquid is poisonous and potentially deadly when swallowed, breathed in, and absorbed through the skin or eyes, especially to young people and pets. These chemicals are also often not regulated, meaning there is a significant possibility of more unknown and potentially harmful chemicals in e-cigarettes. Although New York state law theoretically prohibits the sale of e-cigarettes to people under the age of 21, New York City law means that vapes with flavors other than unflavored and tobacco are banned, and vendors require a license to sell them. These laws are poorly enforced. Despite the threat of a $1,000 to $5,000 fine and suspension of one's license, many vendors continue to sell flavored vapes to teenagers illegally. 56% of retailers were found to be selling flavored vapes despite their ban in 2020, which was significantly more common in neighborhoods with more people under the age of 25, due to higher demand and thus profit incentives. Additionally, retailers could deny inspectors entry and use additives that create a similar cooling sensation and flavor to flavored vapes. Some steps to fight against this might be to inform your friends or yourself about the potential dangers of vaping, along with the predatory tactics that they use. They could be told to watch out for the colorful imagery and influencer endorsements, thinking critically about whether the seller is actually being truthful or not. It's not cool to use it. You're lining the pockets of some CEO with cash while you're being left with lung cancer. For current users, programs like NYC Smoke-Free Reality Check and Quitting by the Truth Initiative could help them quit, with the former teaching leadership and public speaking skills, while the latter is a joint journey to quit with influencers and other addicts. Chewing on something, taking medicine to reduce cravings, or doing other enjoyable activities could help. Contacting representatives, such as local senators or city council, could also be a step for people advocating for change. For example, when I'm going to Albany in February, I'll speak to the governor about this. If an illegal vape vendor is found, whether it be from selling flavored vapes or to people under 21, they could be reported to organizations like Parents Against Vaping E-Cigarettes, to the NYPD, 311, or to the FDA. This will help the law enforcement identify and take action against these vendors. To sum up, vape companies use predatory marketing tactics such as sweet flavors, influencer promotions, and bright colors to glamorize e-cigarettes and get teenagers to buy them. While regulations exist to prevent this, they are often poorly enforced and have loopholes, causing many high schoolers to have mental and physical health issues from e-cigarette use, including depression and lung disease. To help fight against this, peers could be encouraged to quit with various online and in-person programs, and illegal vendors could be reported to the authorities.